Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast in a game between BeastyQT versus BLY here on Shakura's Plateau. This was taken from the Zotac Cup pretty recently. Once again, thanks to Zotac. They do not sponsor me, but if they would like to sponsor me, I would gladly accept it. Anyways, BeastyQT spawning as the blue Terran player here on the bottom right hand side of the map. Meanwhile, on the bottom left hand side of the map, we see BLY spawning as the green Zerg. Terran versus Zerg here on Shakura's Plateau. We'll see what comes of this game here on Shakura's Plateau, as it is going to be close by air spawns, and close by air spawns normally plays differently as drops do become much more powerful. Now, Shakura's Plateau is one of those maps where drops do come into play very often for Terran, as they're able to hit multiple bases at the same time. All the walking distances making it rather difficult for a Zerg player to get in between those bases. But then Zergs can counter with Mutalisk. Mutalisk, a very fine harassment unit, able to do a lot here, as we now see BeastyQT waiting for that barracks. There you go. Finally getting it placed down here. And it looks like a Marine will be rallied straight down to the low ground. Now, taking a look at what BLY is going to be doing, he still has not shown any strategy just quite yet. He may be going for a 15 or perhaps even a 16 hatchery. And he may be, no, just going for a 15 hatchery this time, as that drone going to make its way down, grow up, and be a hatchery, knowing that there is not much that the Terran player can do at this stage, as we now see more and more drones still being queued up and trained. Now, the Overlord from BLY will spot his opponent in just a moment. I believe he did actually spot, yes, he did spot the glowing minerals, and that's all he needs to really see. And now deciding to back away and go around the far side in order to perhaps gain sight on that gas. SCV already going to come up inside the base. Based upon that, the Overlord should perhaps just change positions and then just try to keep track of what's going on here, as we do see one Marine now will be trained and heading over to the ramp. The extractor is already up. Spawning pool is now placed down back over here. It wouldn't normally be spotted. Let's see if BeastyQT actually saw it. Yes, he actually saw the spawning pool at the very back of the mineral lines. We'll see what comes of that, as the Overlord still slowly making his way around, and perhaps will make his way to the natural expansion. We do see perhaps a reactor will get placed down in just a moment. Also, a factory could be placed down here. Where's that reactor waiting for the minerals? There it is. It is going to be a Hellion reactor opening, as a bunker is now being built on the low ground. Interesting position as it is being spotted. There is one Marine up on the high ground, going to try to start dealing some damage to that hatchery. The hatchery, however, with one base armor, should be able to fend off against this pretty easily. There is one bunker on the low ground, one bunker on the high ground, as BeastyQT being very aggressive here. And we'll see what damage is truly dealt. The Marine now just playing around from the far side. Oh, now going to try to make sure that, what's going to happen here is the Marine is now going after the SCV. SCV able to dance around once more. And now those four Zerglings may not be able to get the necessary damage. You can see a Queen will be coming out. The Queen should just get a spawn larva, engage, and then absorb some of that damage, and then Queens could easily make its way in. Or sorry, the Zerglings could make its way in. Oh, the one SCV was destroyed. The bunker at 40/40. That bunker is now canceled, salvaging that second bunker as well, and there it goes. BLY will not stand for any cheese, as we now see BeastyQT opting to go for a command center inside his own base. Reactors now double training Hellions. Those two Hellions will be coming out in just a moment and then making their way across the field. One Marine perhaps going to sit himself at this ramp here, as the two Hellions now make their way out. The Spine Crawler already at the ramp now. Most Zerg players do know that they have to get at least this one Spine Crawler here to fend off any early Marines and any early Hellions that may try to poke their way up that ramp. We are adding a new reactor here. We are building a barracks with a reactor here. And what is transitioning? A reactor on the factory, perhaps, but still no starport. The Hellion's not really going to be able to charge up that ramp at all, as we see Overlords are in position for BLY to essentially intercept any drops that possibly could come in. Hellion's now making its rounds, trying to figure out where BLY exactly is expanding. He is still only running off of 2 bases, but getting an additional 2 extractors and now going into a Spire play. And this is a very fast Spire. You're going to see that the Spire is going to come up sometime around the sometime around the 8.5 minute mark. Add in the build time, and we could have perhaps somewhere in the realm of 8 to 10 Mutalisks at the 9-minute mark, which is a very large number. Marines now just doing some patrolling, and we'll see whether or not BeastyQT is going to be able to respond to this. This early gas, early tech to tier 2, and early Spire could pay off very, very well. As you see, 2 hatcheries now with 4 larvae between them should get up very high in just a moment. You can still see that gas is still being harvested and collected. About another 40 seconds to go. That means that we should have somewhere in the realm of about 700 gas here, as the SCVs are now starting to mine at the natural expansion. Now an engineering bay is being placed down at the 8-minute mark. Missile turrets only take 25 seconds to build. No scanner sweep yet coming in at all, as it looks like another round of Overlords will pop just in time. So it is going to be about 7 Mutalisks right as that Spire completes. 7 Mutalisks dealing a whole bunch of damage. 6 already being trained. There's the 7th one, and now 14 food. But in comes perhaps a drop. The stim pack has already been researched, double training up medevacs as the Marines are making their way through this very narrow slit north of this Overlord. We'll see how much damage this is able to do. No combat shield on those Marines though, so they have to be very careful how much stim that they actually use. As Mutalisks are now making their way in, Marauders coming in, dropping as well. The Marines are now trying to stim back. This is going to be a very bad fight. BeastyQT being forced to drop all of the Marines down one at a time, but the Mutalisks of BLY just simply too much, saving those lower hit point Mutalisks, and now going after the medevacs. The medevacs may get taken down. A nice split on the medevacs. One medevac does get destroyed. The second medevac now going to make it over high ground. There is a missile turret right there. The missile turret does take down one Mutalisk, but we can now see a swarm of Zerglings starting to chase and perhaps finish off this Marauder. Mutalisks and Zerglings may look to engage. There are Marines right behind that bunker. This Zergling, or this Marauder, going to get cleaned up by those Zerglings now, as we still don't see that many missile turrets, instead opting to go for a lot more bunkers. Very heavy bunker play, as still one Hellion sitting at this natural expansion. BLY opting to now take up his 3rd base. There is still 6 Mutalisks in the air. Not really going to be able to do very much, but the Marines have been using those stim packs and to their own death right now, as those Marines are at 35 over 45 hit points. Combat shield will definitely help, as the Mutalisks now simply make their way in, taking down another command center. Barracks are going to be in trouble. The Marines trying to make their way over. It looks like the Mutalisks will be able to back off just in time, as the Mutalisks do a quick exchange and now engage and pull away again. Now, the engineering bay, I believe, has a range of, or it's a diameter of 3, so that means that the Mutalisks will not be able to attack the engineering bay unless the bunker can fire back. More Marines making their way, chasing the units back once more, as the Harvester count sitting at 70 compared to 33. This is not even a really fair engagement right now, as BeastyQT is so far behind in both workers and in army that BLY should almost just be able to intercept any units and attack with a very large army well before BeastyQT has anything else. Mutalisks now making their way. The medevac looks like it will get destroyed. No, the Marines getting destroyed. One Mutalisk does get taken down. A second Mutalisk backing off just in time. The medevac does get taken out there. So a 500 resource or 600 resource loss for a 200 resource unit. And that is it, as BLY has been able to save his units and keep them alive pretty effectively. Now, we could perhaps get a transfuse on that Mutalisk, get it back up to full health, and then engage once more. But BLY doesn't look like he's going to be doing that at all. Perhaps just going to simply attack move with this army. The siege tanks up at the front will be able to destroy any Zerglings that try to make their way in. But the Mutalisks are still harassing pretty regularly. And now you can see that the command center once again unable to upgrade to an orbital command, as it is still not yet finished. Mutalisk still flying around in the center portion of the map. Zerglings and Banelings ready to find their target. Banelings dealing an effective amount of damage, 39 damage per explosion. Level 1 weapons upgrade on those Marines. Baneling speed movement now being researched as Zerglings looking to destroy these destructible rocks alongside some Mutalisks. and then control this narrow walkway between these two bases. SCV now making its way up. What will it be able to do as the SCV now just going to get taken down here? And it does spot this base here, as we now see an orbital command will be trying to land and establish this third base. This third base, however, may get stopped as BLY, all he needs to do is hit G for just a moment and then disallow any, or just not allow any landing, as the units are now trying to come in to engage. It looks like the orbital command now taking some damage, gonna get pushed back. There's a Baneling bomb right there, taking down submarines after the stim. Nicely done, as the Zerglings now figuring out where exactly they can attack. One SCV gets taken down, another unit getting destroyed there, as it looks as though this Overlord is just going to get shot out of the sky. There it goes. Marines doing their job as the Mutalists are looking at, are we going to get another baiting on the attack there? We can see there now a little bit more engagement, and now, oh, there you go, another Baneling trap, taking down multiple Marines. Baneling's now just going to suicide themselves into siege tanks, knowing that there's not many more Marines left, as now there are more burrowed Banelings here. A BeastyQT just in a very terrible situation, and now one Marine going to make its way over, only to fall at the hands of, or I guess the little butt of the Mutalisk, as the Marines are now once again going to try to engage. What's going to happen here? The Marines are now making their way, and another Baneling bomb, and there's the GG. So BLY definitely taking game one in this series with very effective Baneling play. Burrowed Banelings just simply destroying Marines left and right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.